This is the second video in a two-part series where I mostly go step by step through installing AEV's 2.5 lift kit for the diesel Gladiator. This second part is the front suspension and the geometry correction brackets, which, spoiler alert, the geometry correction brackets, if I can say that right, geometry correction brackets, are a giant pain in the butt. But anyway, I'm far from a pro mechanic, so the things I do, the way I do it, time's probably not the right way, probably not the safe way, but I did what I had to do, in my own experience, to get it done, and we did get it done. So, let's get to work. Day 2. Last night I got done with the rear and the spacers for the drive shaft at about 7 or 7:30 and decided to call it a night. Thought, yeah, I could have stayed up till 12 or 1 and probably finished this project, but I was tired, ready for a Christmas movie with the wife. So, we're back at it this morning, kind of late morning, slept in a little bit. Ready to attack the front, and it starts off the same way as we did the rear. So loosen up all the control arms, loosen up the sway bar, disconnect the brake brackets, and then on to page 2 of page 2 of the front instructions. And taking what I learned yesterday, where I spent way too much time trying to loosen up the control arm bolts, I'm going to attack them from the bolt side, not the nut side, and I'm guessing they will come right out. Let's get to work. Okay, I'm on the front driver's side, loosening the control arms. So this lower one wasn't too bad. I couldn't get my impact to fit or do anything in here, so I just got the big breaker bar and it eventually came loose. Just lots of short throws, which was annoying and time consuming, but it came out. And then it took me a while to even find the upper control arm because it's buried back in here behind the brake line stuff. Oh yeah, I did bend this brake line bracket up so that I could get a wrench in the back for the lower control arm, but that is part of the instructions later on, so no problem. It needed to be there anyway. The upper control arm is hidden way in here. The front right there wasn't too hard to get to. Just kind of awkward, feeding a breaker bar and a ratchet up through there. But then the back, since this is, I'm guessing, a diesel thing, the top bolt is way in there. There's a little tab holding it, and underneath, ow, bash my head on my jack stand, there is a heat shield covering the back side of that bolt, so that's annoying. I guess I have to take this heat shield off. Hooray! Not in the instructions, worth knowing. Passenger side front. Whoa. Passenger side front has this same heat shield you got to take off. It's just two 10mm bolts. The front came off pretty easy. It's nice that there's this tab though, because then you just get a socket extension in there. Actually, I didn't even do that. The other side. Never mind. Just take the heat shield off. Work the bolt from the heat shield side. Two 10mm. Not too bad. But let me tell you what, these lower control arm bolts, these will wear a guy out. Man, like this bottom one in the front, I had to, of course, use my breaker bar because the impact doesn't fit in there. But I had to keep taking the socket on and off. Like I could get a tiny bit of movement with it, and then I would have to take this off, spin it a quarter turn, and put it back on so that I could get a bite from the right angle. Lordy, that took a lot of work to get that thing off. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm worn out already, and I'm just almost done getting these control arms loose. Anyway, time to loosen up the top one. Okay, this rear shield I was looking at a minute ago, it is almost impossible to get in here. I got the bottom bolt out just fine, and I could hold a ratchet up here with the tippity tips of my fingers, but I just got this top bolt out enough to be able to kind of slip this out of the way, so now I can get to this. But I did not take that top bolt out very far because wow, it's covered by all kinds of stuff. There's no way to get to it. It's impressive. All right, it is about an hour and a half since I started working again, and I finally am done with page 1. Control arms are loose. Track bar. That's not the track bar. Here it is. Track bar. Right here. Loose. And brake brackets. Brake line brackets are removed. And I just put the bolt back in the frame so I don't lose it. On to page 2. Okay, shocks came out pretty easy. The upper bolt is hiding behind this plastic shield, but oh my gosh, it's a monster. Look how long this thing is. Also, I think it is time to point out, I need to point out that I made a big mistake, but saved my own butt at the same time. So I had these second set of jack stands under the axle just for safety purposes, that for some reason these failed, that I might not get crushed to death because these were here. I forgot to put a jack under the axle. That's in step 1. Step 1, support the axle. So when I popped the shocks out, it came crashing down, not crashing because it's like an inch, but slammed onto this second set of jacks. So thank goodness I had those there. Don't be like me. Support the axle right away, all the time. So yeah, whoops. So in these brackets, I'm trying to use my crescent wrench to hold it at the spot I want it to bend, and then using channel locks to grip it and do the bending. It's kind of working. Hopefully that's bent vertically enough, because that's what we're getting. Now we're gonna try and go real slow and get those springs loose. Ha! We're loose. Spring is out. Sweet. Now this thing is supposed to stay up there, but it does. Okay, good. No, I'm not. So this rests on that. That's good. I know we have to put an extension here. Oh, and I'm a little concerned about getting the bolt down in this into there that I've seen in the instructions, but in due time, right? All in good time. Yep, next stop is to remove the bump stops, put them in the extension. Supposedly they just pull out, so let's see. Wiggle. Just wiggle, they said. It'll be easy, they said. Actually, I think it said I could use channel lock, so let's try that. Can I get a grip on the dumb thing? Yep. Came out. Now we gotta put it in here. It says I might need detergent. I'm just gonna try mashing on it. See if it'll go. Nope, I think we're gonna get some detergent. Well, I went inside, soaked these up, still couldn't get them pressed in there, but my good friend Bench Vise smashed them in pretty easily for me. So definitely lube them up. I recommend this unless you've got, you know, grip of the Titans or something. But they're in. Now we got to figure out how to get them in the truck. So this is my solution for how to get the bolt down in there without losing it, and to be able to remove the socket and not leave the socket in there because I don't have a nice magnet drive. So let's test it. This is going to be in the truck. The bolt's going to go in, right? And then when it's in, hopefully that masking tape will just tear. Ha! And the bolt's there, and I've got my wrench, I've got my extension, I've got my socket. Electric tape for the win. Do people still say for the win? I'm saying it. Yep, that worked great. Got the extension with the bolt on it down through the bottom. And let me get this tilted so you can see. The bolt is there, so we should be able to get the bump stop screwed on there. Oh yeah, easy. Just tighten it down. And hopefully snap the tape off, like the test. Beautiful. Mission accomplished. Hopefully there's enough light in here to see this. I don't know if there is, but on the passenger side of getting the bump stop in, I don't know if it's diesel specific. No, you can't really see, darn it. But there are hoses and wires and all kinds of crap up in here blocking the hole in the tube to get the bolt down in there. So I managed to get my extension in, thankfully, somehow, barely, and hand tighten this, but I couldn't get there's not enough room to get my ratchet head in there. So luckily the bolt didn't move, and I was able to use giant channel locks to just grab onto this and tighten it down that way. So probably not the AEV approved method, but you got to do what you got to do, right? All right, the next page has a lot of stuff. Put the springs in. Skip this step because it's for gas only. Okay. Put the new springs in. Make sure everything's lined up right. Put the new shocks in. Put the new end links in with a lot of side equipment. So we're getting close to the last page of this. Was there one more? Nice. Okay. Springs, shocks, sway bar links. Okay, so these guys keep slipping down and they go in a very specific place. So I think I'm gonna give this a good wipe. Can I get those in there? There we go. Wipe this down a bit. I'm using my good friend electric tape because it's stretchy. And see if I can hold this thing in place. I mean, it goes up here like it doesn't need to move much, and it's rubber and electric tape is anyway. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this up here, see if I can't tape it in place with this electric tape. Look at that. Now it's not moving, and it's where it belongs. I love you, tape. That was surprisingly easy. Hopefully the other side is just. Got the shock connected at the top. I mean, loosely, I just started the bolt. Now I gotta use the jack to raise the axle so we can get the bottom bolt in. That was easy. Whoops, I shouldn't say stuff like that. Don't ever say it's easy. Jinx myself. So I was tightening the shocks. I noticed my front spring is not lined up right. It's sitting off to the side. So I'm gonna have to go back in time and hopefully not unhook too much and fix that. Hooray, it's exciting. Earlier I couldn't get these off very well because of where the sway bar? Sway bar? I think it's sway bar. Because where it was situated. So now I was supposed to take these off, or in the instructions it says to take these off earlier. Now that this is out of the way, it's loose on both ends and pulled down. Now I can get my fancy vice grip hex key in there and my super special crescent wrench, because for some reason I can't find an 18 wrench. I should have an 18. I got 17s, I got 19s. None of my kits have 18s, so I could use a crescent and hope I don't round it off. Fun times. Yeah, it's coming. It's not bad. Ta-da! That's the end of the hard stuff, I think. Time to put the wheels back on, according to the instructions, and then the geometry correction brackets, and then tighten all of those control arms back down, and then it's done. Starting to feel good about this. Are you? I mean, everything hurts. My arms, my wrists, my hands, my legs, my back. It's almost done. All right, so we're into the truck again. Removing the frame side of the control arms so that the bracket can go on. And the upper control arm, well, hopefully you can see. How am I supposed to get that out of there? They recommend you do, it says in the instructions, with the wheels on the ground. All right, we got wheels on the ground and we got Moondoggy. Hey, bud. But this is stuck. This is supposed to be free. Thanks, instructions. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Hopefully I don't have to completely remove the axle side, but if I do, I guess. We'll see. Figure something out. So I took the whole upper control arm out because it was stuck. So I had to. So it's out. Working on the bracket. Bottom's in. Pain in the butt. The top. What am I supposed to do here? It doesn't line up quite right. See that? So am I supposed to drill it out? Am I supposed to pound on the factory hardware? Try and bend it into place? More figuring it out. This is fun, right? Yeah, working on your truck's fun. We're having a good weekend here. I was very surprised that I got the tab reconnected. I thought that was going to make me very upset, but it wasn't too bad. I just wrenched on the bolt until it worked its way in. But look, this lower control arm, this isn't even close. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to jack on it or what. Hopefully the football game's not too loud. Sorry. Alright, I got it figured out. You just gotta use the jack to raise the frame a little bit, then you can get your holes to line up. Kind of annoying, but we got it. Even with the jack here, I couldn't quite get this lined up right. I had to use my friend 4-pound sledge and tap on the back side of this bracket just to bend it the tiniest bit to get that bolt through. But hey, we got it. Time to tighten stuff down. Again, we are not even close. with the upper control arm. So hopefully my little jack trick will work on this one too, but I'm concerned because that's way off, so we'll see. Okay, I think even though the instructions say to put the wheels back on, I think I'm going to take them off because my jack isn't high enough. This is still hitting the ground, and I need the axle to be free so that I can twist it forward a little bit, which the instructions for the geometry brackets do mention doing that, but not at this step. They don't mention taking the wheels off, they just mention making sure the axle is off the ground and free. So with the equipment I have, I'm taking the wheels back off and hoping I can figure it out from there. Maybe some ratchet strap action. We'll see. We'll get it fixed. It'll work. My solution for rolling the axle like the instructions mentioned was to take my little floor jack and put it on this brace. Sorry, I don't know the name of it. So that when it lifts up, it kind of spins as we're looking at the camera counterclockwise. And I think it worked. Look at that. Look at that. Brackets. Damn it. Look at that. Relocation brackets on. Front and rear control arms are on the driver's side. Time to do the passenger. This bolt on the upper control arm on the passenger side in front, you can't get it out to put the relocation bracket in because all this fun diesel stuff. So I'm going to cut it off and hope there is still a hardware store open at 5:30 on Sunday to get a new bolt. I know I'd read or watched videos about people running into this on other kits, and for some reason I thought, you know, maybe it won't be me. Maybe it won't be a problem with AEV's kit. Wrong, still a problem. Okay, I'm stricken with mild excitement because I think we got it. The little brackets in there. Every bolt is in and started. I think that was the last bolt. Oh my gosh. I think that was the last bolt. I'm so tired. Little jack didn't cut it, but putting my largest jack, which is not that big of a jack, on this bolt up here was enough to give me the angle I needed to connect that thing. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to tighten up the bracket bolts so that that's on solid on both sides. The control arms are not supposed to be tightened until it's sitting on the ground. So I'll get this thing attached solidly. And yes, I did have to go to Home Depot and get a new bolt. Of course, we cut the other one. Get this attached. Get the wheels back on. Again, hopefully for real this time. Drop it down. Connect those. And then technically the AEV lift is done. Boy, that was a weekend. Those relocation brackets were way more of a pain than I was expecting, but yeah. Leave it in the air. Leave it in the air, take the wheels off. Leave the wheels off. Oh, and then you can kind of, anyway, we got them on. Figured it out. I do have a new concern though. I didn't think about this when I pulled the truck in, but with the lift on, I'm a little concerned that it's not going to clear the garage door. So that should be interesting. Oh, look, we forgot this little thing. I'm not putting that back on tonight.